Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. Moving on in the subclass series onto the next subclass, which is the Rune Knight Fighter. Alex and Jameson here.
That's right.
As always.
That's who we are.
So, there's a lot going on with this one, so let's just jump straight into it. If you're new to the channel, subclass series, we're going to go through all the abilities, and we're going to rate the roleplay value, combat value, overall class synergy, based on the abilities gained in this subclass, how they improve on the base class abilities. So, let's go.
That's right. So, level 3, bonus proficiencies. Proficiency with Smith's tools. You learn to speak, read, and write giant.
Fair enough.
Done. Okay. Rune Carver.
Buckle up.
You get to learn 2 runes of choice from the runes described below. I'm going to do my best to read through these at lightning speed.
Oh boy.
So we cover them all. At level 3, you can learn 2 runes, 3 at 7, 4 at 10, 5 at 15. That's like not adding that many more. Like that's how many total runes you can know. There's only 6 to pick from. So by the time you hit 15, you'll be able to have access to all of these but 1.
Yes.
All right. So the Cloud rune. While wearing said rune, and by the way, let's cover the rules first. Let's go back and, or as Jim Carrey would do. If a rune requires a saving throw, its DC is equal to 8 plus your proficiency plus your Constitution modifier. And to be eligible for these runes to be placed on an object, has to be a weapon, suit of armor, shield, piece of jewelry, something else that you can wear or hold in your hand, so that it stays on your person that way.
Yes.
Okay. Fast forward. Cloud rune. So while wearing this rune, you have advantage on sleight of hand and deception checks. When you or a creature you can see is hit within 30 feet by an attack roll, you can use your reaction to invoke this rune and choose a different creature within 30 feet of you other than the attacker. The chosen creature becomes a target of the attack using the same roll. This magic can transfer the attack's effects regardless of the attack's range. Once you evoke this rune, you can't do it again. You finish a short or long rest. As you'll see a theme, all of these have like 1 RP side and 1 combat effect.
Yes.
That's important to know.
Very nice.
Fire rune. While wearing or carrying this object, your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability checks that you make using your proficiency with a tool, like your Smith's tools, for example. Also, when you hit a creature with an attack using a weapon, you can evoke the rune to summon fiery shackles. The target takes an extra 2d6 fire damage and must succeed a strength saving throw or be restrained for 1 minute. While restrained by the shackles, the target takes 2d6 fire damage at the start of each of its turns. The target repeats the saving throw on each of its turns, banishing the shackles on a success.
And one note on here as well is the saves for all of these, that if they require saves, is DC of 8 plus your proficiency plus con mod.
So very good for fighter.
Very good for fighter.
Very good for fighter. Frost rune, there we go. And the rune's magic evokes the might of those who survive the wintry wilderness. While wearing this object, you have advantage on wisdom/animal handling checks and intimidation checks. So there's your 2 there. In addition, for combat side, for 10 minutes, you can evoke this rune as a bonus action, and you gain a +2 ability to all checks and saving throws that use strength or constitution. Again, once per short or long rest. A stone rune, while carrying this object, or described with this rune, you have advantage on the insight checks, and you have dark vision out to a range of 120 feet.
Solid.
In addition, when the creature receives an energy term within 30 feet, you can use your reaction to evoke the rune's force and make the creature make a wisdom saving throw. Unless the save succeeds, the creature is charmed by you for a minute. While charmed this way, the creature has speed of 0 and is incapacitated, descending into a dreamy stupor. Yes. Again, once per short or long rest. Then the last 2 require you to be 7th level or higher to have access to choose them, so keep that in mind. Heal rune. Simple enough, you have advantage on saving throws against being poison resistance to poison damage. Okay?
All right.
When you invoke the said rune, you gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for 1 minute. Note it does not say non-magical.
Correct.
All bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage for 1 minute. Again, once per short or long rest. And finally, the storm rune lets you have advantage on Arcana checks, and you can't be surprised as long as you are incapacitated. And you can vote for his bonus action and enter a prophetic state for 1 minute. Till the state ends when you or another creature you can see within 60 feet of you makes an attack roll, attack roll, saving throw, or ability check. You can use a reaction to cause the roll to have advantage or disadvantage.
Ooh.
God, I love that rune. Once you invoke this rune, you can do so and finish a short or long rest.
Made it through all the rune options. And again, you do get, 2 at 3rd level, 3 at 7th, 4 at 10th, 15. You have 5. So all but one of these you're going to eventually have on your person. So lots of bonuses, lots of utility for sure.
Yes.
Also, at level 3.
Because we haven't left level 3 yet.
There's a lot of front loaded on here. As a bonus action, you gain magical benefit, which lasts for 1 minute. If you are smaller than large, you become large along with anything you're wearing. If you lack the room to become large, your size doesn't change. Okay? You have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. And lastly, once on each of your turns, one of your attacks with a weapon or unarmed strike can deal an extra 1d6 damage to a target on a hit. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses on a long rest. So you become a giant, essentially.
Pretty much.
Then at level 7, we have Runic Shield. You can invoke your rune to protect allies. When another creature you can see within 60 feet of you is hit by an attack roll, you can use your reaction to force the attacker to re-roll the d20 and use the new roll. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, regain all on a long rest.
AKA unlucky.
Pretty much. Then at level 10, we have Great Stature, magically altered permanently by the rune. When you gain this feature, you roll 3d4 and you grow a number of inches equal in height to the roll. So you get a little bit taller.
But are you a baller?
Oh, I was going to get there. You got there first.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's just the RP side of it. The
Right.
second part of it is your Giant's Might feature increases to 1d8. So you deal a little bit more extra damage on the ceiling potential. Level 15, you have Master of Runes. You invoke each rune from the rune cover twice instead of once and regain all on a short or long rest. So twice per short rest now instead of once. So that's a lot of extra utility you can have, especially with the ones that last for
a minute or
more on there. So then at level 18, finally, we have Runic Juggernaut. As a result of your rune-powered transformation, the extra damage you deal with Giant's Might increases to 1d10. Moreover, when you use the feature, your size increases to huge, and while you are that size, your reach increases by 5 feet. Now, your first thought might be, why does it matter what size I am? Well, my first initial thought to that is it can matter with grappling or moving through spaces. If you are 2 or more sizes above something or below something, you can pass through their space. So if you're fighting things that are medium-sized and you're huge, you can just walk over stuff. That can come and help there. So there are some uses for that, but it's primarily the extra damage and the extra reach is definitely going to be helpful as well.
At 18, being able to reach stuff, and I'm just thinking like, Polar Master?
But you're also, a huge size
Yeah.
with the increased reach. Because you're going to be taking up 3x3 space, being huge.
and
10-foot
reach.
And then 10-foot reach.
And you're definitely using a polearm, so now you have like a 15-foot reach.
So you're actually gaining quite a bit more reach because you can size and the reach.
You can reach out and touch a lot of things.
Yes, pretty much.
Violently.
So those are all the abilities gained in the subclass. So now move into the rating section of the video. First up is the roleplay value, asterisk, as always. Talking about roleplay value, talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, non-combat scenarios, avoiding combat, things outside the initiative order in general. Not talking about fantasy, lore, background, history. That's on you as a player. Can't really rate you as a player. We can only rate the abilities gained in the subclass and how these abilities and mechanics gained might improve your potential to roleplay outside of combat, essentially. So, looking at the abilities on here, there is a definitely interesting mix of RP, especially when you're looking at all of the runes, and them all giving, pretty much all of them giving you at least some use of RP in addition to their use effects, with the RP uses being essentially on active all the time, which is pretty nice. Lots of permanent bonuses that you gradually gain more.
Right.
It's one thing that I really like about this subclass is some classes you go like 4, 5, 6 levels and don't gain really anything.
Right. Or longer.
This one, yeah, right. This one, every couple of levels, you're gaining an ability with the subclass, but then also you're gaining access to more runes on a regular basis as well.
Yep.
And then, of course, even your Giant's Might can be used with RP, because you might think I'm just going to get big and be in combat, but you're also getting that bonus with strength checks. And then there's that flavor, too, of the extra growth as well. That could be used in certain circumstances as well. So we went with a 4.5 out of 5 on the roleplay portion of the rating. Pretty solid. Lots of options that are just always on.
And some of the other subclasses in this book will let you, you get to pick this or swap to this or do this, which are very interesting and very cool. This one just lets you keep stacking abilities.
Another one. And
I'd like this and get like this.
By the end of all the runes, you're gonna have either like a bunch of like necklaces or like some bling going on, like all these rings.
You can become Flavor Flav at that point.
Oh man, I actually was Flavor Flav in that one shot. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we had because I was a chronology wizard and I had a clock necklace.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. That's a big, interesting thing. Anyways, combat. What do we think about that, Alex?
This is one of those unusual situations. Usually, if one of our things scores very high on one thing, it does not score as high on the other. That's not the case here. And the main reason why is all of these runes have a variety of different abilities that you can pop at your choosing to do a variety of different things, and you can pick based on the playstyle you want, what you want to focus on first. Like, do you really want to go after that fire rune, that extra damage and that restrain chance early? Cool. Or do you really want to go after that help with the frost rune giving you the extra saving throw proficiency, early? Yeah. If you're trying to help with survival for yourself, there's different choices. Obviously, you can't take the hill rune, the storm rune until later. But oh goodness, when you get to take the storm rune later, because I don't know why you're not giving up the chance at the storm rune once you get access to it, because just being able to for a minute just use your reaction to make any attack roll, saving throw, or ability check have advantage or disadvantage. Your choice. It's crazy. Once per round, obviously, it does take your reaction to do it.
Right, true.
But any roll.
I'd give up my opportunity attack for that.
Yeah. Again, I think you're fighting one big angry somethings, and it's we're trying to hold monster that thing. You're going to have disadvantage on that saving throw. You best be betting.
At least make them burn resistance.
Right. So the fact that there's eventually you get 5 out of the possible 6 choices. 'Cause a lot of other classes they give you choices that you're limited to. You get a much lower percentage of payout there, but 5 out of a possible 6.
Very
86%. It's pretty good. Once you get all past the whole meat of all of that, then you get extra damage with Giant Smite. Getting the advantage on these strength saving throws is never a bad thing. So being a chance to knock prone and grapple, things like that.
Right.
But good against, and then the runic shield being able to force disadvantage again for attacks. And again, all it's taking is a reaction. You're not having. It's not another resource having to spend just to do that, and you can do that a number of times without having to pop your storm. So you could really hate. Really hate on things. Giant's Might scales not once but 2 more times, and then of course at 15 we're able to pop your runes twice for short rest. 15 you become
a monster,
a absolute monster.
Yeah, because that's also the level you get your 5th.
Yeah, so when you hit 15, you're a monster. 4.5 out of a possible 5. We've given solid. This, and a fighter, you're thinking like, oh, it's a fighter, like a rare combination of really good RP and really good combat for a fighter.
Yeah, this one is kind of crazy, especially when you start throwing in, your action surges and second winds and all of your extra things that you get.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like action surge with like the fire rune and swinging,
just blowing stuff up. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do on here for sure.
Yeah.
Lastly, we have the overall class synergy. More options with your reactions and bonus actions is always nice. The only thing that kind of comes up on here is there's a little bit of overlap, right? Because as we were mentioning, things like Second Wind also use bonus action. So you're getting lots of options for your bonus action, but they're all taking up the same spot.
Right.
And
just like with the Storm Rune and the Runic Shield both using reaction to pop. So the choices, but they do kind of overlap in...
Right, so you can't be doing all of these things at the same time. You have to pick and choose when to best to use these abilities. Right. The other thing, too, is, like we mentioned, Action Surge. The only issue with Action Surge is it gives you an extra action. It doesn't give you an extra bonus action.
Right.
And a lot of these are bonus action abilities. So with that involved, Action Surge doesn't really help you a whole lot. Right. I mean, with most of these, it doesn't really help you a whole lot.
No.
And then you have your things like Indomitable. So all of those things being said, they kind of overlap with reactions and bonus actions. You're just getting lots of options, which is always good.
Yep.
But again, it can cause a little bit of, I guess, fear of when best to use something.
Opportunity cost.
Yes, opportunity cost, FOMO. like shouldn't have used that then, or I should have used it.
You should have used the other thing instead.
Yeah. And then you don't have it later because you have all these different things.
It becomes resource management.
You're almost a caster at this point. You have so many options to choose. Yeah, like, why does it take you so long to take a turn just to fight? Or like, you don't understand.
If you're a martial class player and you want to know what it feels like to maybe dip your toe into playing a caster,
you get so many options. You're like,
you just have all the choices.
So there is that. So we just went with a 3.5 out of 5.
Yep.
Definitely some options that are nice to have, but again, some overlap with things taking up the same spot and same place, kind of fighting over the same action economy spot.
Indeed.
So solid 3.5, but 4.5, 4.5, 3.5. Pretty solid.
12.5.
Huge fans of this one.
That's a good score.
I do really like this one. I think it's one of my favorites in this book. Just because you get lots of RP and good combat, and it's just interesting to just Hulk smash stuff as well. Just get big.
I mean, because we eventually will go back and do like our top 5 or top 10 rated subclasses and talk about why we're so high on them as a general thing. This one's got a shot at being on that list. With a 12.5 score.
It's up there in the short list.
We've got. We went back and did a little bit of looking, a little bit of a rabbit trail here, but I think we gave one subclass that's gotten a 14 so far.
I guess what that one is.
Yeah, there's I think there's 2 13.5s and like 3 13s, and this one's on there with a handful of 12.5s.
Yep.
So like this is gonna be it's in
the runnings.
That upper echelon. Yes. It's pretty good.
Yeah, love it. So that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. But before we finish, we have the quote from Tasha that she gives for each of these subclasses. So Alex, get that pulled up. But while he's doing that, you got it?
I got it.
All right, hit us with it.
Rune Knight, you're researching ancient arts and drawing runes. It's okay to just say you want to be a witch.
Fair. But there's Tasha's input on this subclass. We gave ours. There's hers. But that's going to wrap it up for this one today, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications to know if our new videos are coming out. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of this subclass, what you want to see from us in the future. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.